back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. Coming back to you after a week's vacation and nearly 2 weeks, thanks to the forces of God outside of my realm. But we are now comfortably back
This is
within my
nature.
realm, where rather than the abject whims of whatever higher powers that be, there is just me to contend with. When we last left off. When we last left off, the party settled themselves into the town of Hjarmen, the dark elf city in the Underdark of Ergos. The Thieves Guild, led by President Ergos, who is a member of the Scar Concord, who has bought the city out from the Geogran territories, and more specifically, the Baradel, controlled by one Evron Blackmont, purchased in the wake of his death and taken out from under his daughter, Aurora Blackmont. Coming into the Argos Republic with guns, swords, and plasma gauntlets blazing, the party has flown under the radar for now, hiding out in the small boon town of Hjarmen, getting the lay of the land and discovering whose side they should be on. They have discovered a backwater, deeply sexist and oppressive town, but with the aid of Zephyr, Neon, and Kero, the party has managed to get into the good graces of the Rebellion, a sect of rebels who are hoping to reinstate Lady Blackmont into the seat of power on the surface world by deposing President Ergos. Less out of a direct support for her ladyship, and more because the Blackmont family left the Saurians of the Underdark alone. The Saurians are having their religion and beliefs oppressed, and the ways of the Dark Elves forced upon them against their will. So it'll be a matter of time if the party takes them up on that. As Zephyr, Neon, and Kara were told, the rebellion is going to take advantage of a hurricane that will be passing through Hjarmen in 8 days, scheduled by the mages that control the weather of the Underdark. And hoping to take advantage of it with the streets flooded and thus the guards of the Republic unable to pursue them, to turn the tavern that the group has been staying in into a meeting den for the rebellion, which the party has now been invited to, as the three managed to convince the bartender out of what he had convinced himself of after meeting Gil, that the party were Imperial spies.
What's the Imperials?
It's always Gil's fault.
So with
Pretty
that,
much.
Caleb and Lucian scout the town, Caleb learning patrol routes and hoping to establish some connections of his own. Lucian making some decisions for how she presents her religious beliefs. Gil doing some shopping. And the remaining party members getting you guys acquainted with people in high places or low places, depending on who you ask. With that, as the gears of the Ergos Republic turn, and we return to the land of Yav. Lucian, when we last left off before, you had some shopping you wanted to do. What would you like to buy?
Okay, so I don't know if it was caught last time because I know that it had some technical difficulties. I was looking at the archery cards and the book of Goblin Autonomy, and I was about to ask him where I can find some fancy clothes.
Right, yes. What had been missed in the wake of technical issues is that fancy garments are not typically purchased here, although they do have some secondhand stuff that you may be interested in. But the Book of Goblin Anatomy and the cards for unofficial, technically, augury will in total run you 6 gold.
Okay. We can do that.
All right.
So there's like nowhere I can find like fancy clothes. I mean, like this dress is pretty fancy, but like I want something new. I kind of like marched through a desert in this get up, you know? So I'm kind of tired of it. I'm sure you understand.
The goblin running the general goods store kind of quirks an eyebrow a little bit at your declaration and just, you can have those washed, right?
Yes, but like I said, even though they're washed, it still feels like I've been in them for too long.
Well, like I said, I got some secondhand stuff that might catch your eye, but can't promise you nothing custom. Not exactly high demand for tailors and seamstresses around here.
So like, there's nowhere I can get because like secondhand is not my style, you know. I don't do hand me down.
Well, then I'm afraid you're not going to get very far in Yarman. I'll recommend heading north if you're that insistent on some custom threads.
Ugh, north. All right, I will give him my 6 gold, and I will take the cards and the book. And I will by now I assume that everything else will be starting to open up. So I want to go and check out like the different stores that are around here because I think I heard somebody say that there was like a cold cream place.
Indeed, that Caleb had mentioned that in his report of what he had seen during his
What?
initial investigations.
I want to go check out the cold cream.
What
All
was
right.
it?
The ice cream parlor you saw.
Oh, okay.
And indeed, heading out as
Lord.
the uh, hmm?
I said, oh, Lord.
oh, heading out as the sun begins to set and the moon begins to take its place. You head to the parlor that Caleb had pointed out, and indeed, see that its doors are open at the moment. And heading inside, you find yourself immediately awash in this delightfully cool air, the polar opposite of the tropical fumes and desert heat that you had been exposed to for most of your trip around this island.
Mm.
It is quite literally a breath of fresh air. And you're not certain, but you almost swear as you exhale deeply that you can see your breath very slightly. Um, the parlor, seeing as it just opened its doors, it does have a small crowd building, but it's relatively small. The parlor itself is this bright salmon color, very eye-catching and gaudy. Uh, and working behind the counter, you see a very fat goblin sitting on a stool and entertaining a small batch of dark elf children. But seeing you approach, he kind of chuckles and waves them off a little bit for them to clear something of a path for you as you approach. And just, oh, what can I help you with, miss?
So
Oh,
I've heard
my
that you
God.
have. I heard that you have cold cream.
We call it ice cream, miss, but yeah.
Ice cream. Okay, that is very different
Oh,
from
boy.
anything that I've ever heard of. I mean, I've heard of like crushed ice. Is it like that?
Something along those lines. Care for a sample?
Yeah. What do you have? Are there like different flavors?
He gives a chuckle and gestures, and you look down at what you had initially kind of just auto-filled as just a simple counter, but looking down, you actually see that it's made of a very fine carved glass, through which you can see a variety of just simple barrels and buckets, each containing this brightly colorful, solid, frozen-looking creams, and the glass has that slight smudge and fog to it, so you know that it's containing something of immense cold. And as you look over these different bright colors, He gives a wide, polite smile and just, you ask if we got flavors? We got quite a few, 33 in fact.
Oh, that is a lot for somebody who's never had this ice cream before. What would you suggest for somebody who has never had it?
Something of a cream greenhorn. Let's start you off with a basic vanilla, shall we? And taking a moment, he pulls this almost like it looks to something like akin to a ladle, simple wooden, but clearly kept very well clean and immaculate, and uses it to almost shovel out a healthy dose of the yellowish white cream furthest to the left in the top corner, which he uh, retrieves and putting it almost in this small cask, not unlike what you would serve ale in, plopping it in 2 scoops, and holds out the repurposed glass to you, and on the house.
Oh, you are very kind. Thank you. I will take it, and I'm going to take like the smallest of bites.
It is delicious.
Ah,
It's cold, but not overpoweringly so. Although you suspect it may start to overpower you if you were to eat it too quickly or take too much of it at once. But it's sweet, delicious, and clearly very well made. And you can see a few of the dark elf kids watching you curiously, almost to gauge how you're going to react to tasting it for the first time.
like her eyes just go like Bambi doe eyes, huge, and
Hmm.
she is delighted. She's just like, by the gods, this is so good. Did you make
I can't take credit for the recipe. I'll just distribute it.
Well, you have to tell whoever made this it is like the best thing that I have had in a very long time, and I've had some pretty good stuff lately. Like, this is pretty good.
The kids all give a cheer, and he gives a smile and just, I'll be sure to pass it along, miss. If you want any more, it's 4 silvers a scoop.
Do you like put anything on top?
And he gestures to a few barrels in the back, several of which you can see have words written on them, although they're in a language you don't understand, and gives you a smile. We've got quite a few. Anything in particular? We got nuts, berries, little candy sprinkles, all sorts of things.
What sprinkles?
He holds out his gnarled goblinic hand for for the remainder of your glass, and the kids all joining you and just watching excitedly. The kids being so small, having to like peer through the glass of the display counter to observe as he hops up onto a stool. You can see several similar strategically placed ones to help him reach the higher places, being so small. And basically just shoveling your cup into the barrel. When it reemerges, you see it is partially spilling and partially filled with these
Okay.
brightly colored little, almost like shards of something. Um, you recognize it as being akin to the colors of candies you've seen distributed on the surface world. And he plops the glass back in front of you and sits back with a smile. And the kids all go back to tittering excitedly as they watch to see how you react.
Yeah, so like I'm kind of like checking it out, or like rainbow sprinkles, and I just kind of like I like dip my spoon in so like I can get like a little bit of ice cream with the sprinkles, and then I'll like taste it. How sugary is
Oh,
it? Is it like sugary?
It's very sugary, and it adds a slight crunch to the otherwise like smooth and creamy substance, but it's not
Is
unwelcome.
it soft serve or
And
hard serve?
gonna be real, IRL, I don't know the difference.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what do you think the difference would be?
Okay, so soft serve is stuff like you would get from like McDonald's, like where it comes like in a cone and like comes out
It
really soft
soft
and
serve
fluffy. Heavy,
is like
No, hard
heavy
soft.
is
serve.
like heavy is like if you go to like Cornerstone or whatever it's called now.
Yeah, heavy serve then.
Yeah. Okay.
Or like what
Uh,
you'd get out of a container of like Bluebell ice cream.
yes, exactly. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Give me ice
Yeah,
cream so I
this
can
stuff is
method act.
this no, this stuff is clearly handmade and not automated at all. So yeah, it's the hard stuff.
I
Um,
showed so she's just like kind of.
Is it possible to make soft serve by
It's
hand?
it is very sweet and kind of crunchy, but I kind of like it.
the kids all give another cheer, and the goblin chuckles and all right,
Where's
don't
that
eat me out of
soundbite?
house and home now, huh?
Where's that soundbite of kids cheering?
So,
I'll look
uh,
to the kids. Have you guys had any of this ice cream?
they all give they all kind of hesitate for a second and all shake their heads and kind of give you puppy dog eyes.
Okay, how much for ice cream for all of these children?
He raises an eyebrow and all the kids turn to him and you see the goblin almost look spooked, like he's being backed into a corner by hungry animals. Uh,
Kind of is.
Yes. Yes, that is exactly how kids should be.
full gold, 8 silver by my head count.
I will give him.
Wait,
You said 4
what
gold.
the f-
4 gold, 8 silver.
I will give him 5 gold.
what the fuck is that?
What?
What? Did
Oh,
somebody just die?
oh, okay. So I like found that soundbite, and then YouTube
Oh.
started auto playing another sound.
Oh.
It started playing "bruh," but it starts slow and gets faster until normal speed, and so I just hear. "Brrr." I'm like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
that?
it's creeping up on you. But yeah, so yeah, 4
I
gold
will-
and 8 silver
I will
for
give
ice
him
cream
5
server.
gold, and I'll say you can keep the extra for yourself.
Tip.
He
You know what? I can pull out an extra gold. 6 gold. That
you could see the kids all cheer uproariously and start babbling to each other in Undercommon as the goblin kind of shakes his head incredulously and just like, all right, one at a time. And he to his credit does give you a smile though, and well, you're always welcome back in my parlor anytime, miss. Now I've got my hands full here, so if you're happy with your share.
I am very happy. Thank you so much. And you children, you enjoy your ice cream.
One of the dark elf boys, the shortest and skinniest of the group, is stuck kind of furthest to the back and unable to access the counter. So he turns to you and, do you speak Undercommon, Lucian?
I do not, but if he starts saying something to me, I can cast tongues on myself. So
Yeah, he it smiles and enthusiastically babbles to you in a language you don't understand.
okay,
But you do recognize
I'll hold
it
up a finger.
as
I'll hold up a
Undercommon.
finger, just like a 1 second finger. I'll cast tongues on myself, and then I will say to him, "What did you say?"
Thank you, miss.
Oh, you're welcome. You are very cute.
Yeah, you watch as the goblin gets a scoop of the dark brown, almost cocoa-like version of the cream. But as he's handing it to one of the kids, they snatch it so rapidly out of his hands, and he actually pulls back and just bah, little beasts.
Sorry. Sorry. Children. Be nice to the goblin.
To the guy.
You could see him just kind of like yeah, kids, be nice to the and he like gas as the kids grab him by the wrist and like pull on him, and just start yelling at him in
Gracious.
undercommon.
I'll say in undercommon, now, no need to be rude.
He like pulls himself away frantically and all right, this is gonna
Probably
call
like,
for the heavy duty stuff. And he puts a small helmet over his head and starts scooping ice cream rapidly like his life depends on it. And from what you're observing, it very well might.
these are some
Is that
voracious
the
kids.
I will walk out of that parlor very, very, very happy, and I'll just continue eating my ice cream. Just
you
yes,
see
I
a
did
few of
some
the
good.
yeah, you see a few of the other parlor guests torn between smiling and laughing at the kids causing trouble. Several of them smile and nod at you as you walk out.
I'll just give them a little tip of the invisible hat.
All right. Is that the end of your night on the town, Lucian?
It is. I will head back to the inn.
All right. All right. So Neon, Zephyr, and Caro are accounted for. Lucian, Gil, and Raccoon. I believe, yeah, you two were still at the Sunken Scale. You hadn't. I don't believe you'd left yet. Did you have anything specific you wanted to do?
Gil does, yes. He
What
doesn't
would you like to
plan
do?
leave.
All right.
He wants to find a gambling table.
Oh, brother.
Like
Lose all his money.
arm wrestling
God.
or something. Like he's gonna put up a sign that says arm wrestle, challenge me if you think you can win. And I'll have a gold on the table.
Oh boy.
Make
Gold.
a persuasion check.
Oh, here we go.
I'm watching you, Jeremy.
Money.
Deet, 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 deet. Someone's gonna lose money, that's for sure.
Most likely Gil.
13, you said?
Yeah, he said 13.
Okay,
I
noted.
think it's gonna be Gil.
All right, and Caleb. So, as mentioned a few weeks ago, you have more or less committed most of the guards' nightly patrols to memory. You see them circle twice, 3 times before you're confident that they don't seem intent on changing the routine extensively. Is there anything else you'd like to do while you're
Has Caleb
while you're out?
seen the guard that seemed to get pissed off at him the other day?
Yes, you do see the guard who gave her name as Amanda. Typically, she seems to be restricted to patrolling the border, although you do see her round through the town out to the fort and then back around.
Okay, that's just like interesting.
Mhm.
And then he'll head back.
All right. So, Zephyr, Neon, and Kero, as your meeting with the Saurian bartender rebel concludes, Gil has set up a prospective gambling table of his own, not finding one to start off with. Lucian returns with a mug of some frothy-looking cream. Caleb returns shortly after, seeming confident and relaxed. And as everyone regroups, you guys can sit at your usual table or go off and do your own things if you wish. But the group has, for the time being, reunited at the Sunken Scale. Does anyone want to do anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna go up to Caleb. Caleb, have you tried this ice cream? It is so good.
Caleb was like, I saw that. Well, I saw that earlier, but it wasn't really interested in it. Not really
You want a bite
hungry.
of mine? You can have a bite if you want. It has sprinkles on it. Makes it kind of crunchy, but it's actually really good.
Caleb was gonna be like, I think I'll pass.
I want to say it's better than coffee, but it's not. It's like second best to coffee.
Caleb is
Uh,
just like, he's just thinking to himself, "Oh God, here we go again."
I really,
Uh,
really miss coffee, but this is really good.
Caro, Neon, and Zephyr, what are the three of you up to since you're meeting with Trot?
Who?
Trot, the
Zephyr,
bartender.
Neon, and Caro.
Who did they meet?
Trot, the bartender.
The bartender who had given his name as Trot.
Trot?
Trot. Like how a dog walks, Trot.
A dog
Trot,
trot.
trot, trot.
Turkey trot.
That's
Uh,
a turkey trot.
doing this. Down.
I'm gonna sit down. Hey, Zephyr. Hello, Carol. Did anything interesting happen to you lately? Because this ice cream stuff is like pretty up there.
Nope.
No.
I just kind of squint my eyes as I
No, like Kara
look
didn't say
next
no,
to
I was
him.
just laughing.
They're saying that.
I'll look over to Carol. Is he lying to me?
Well, I
But
guess
you
it
didn't roll
depends on.
insight, so
I guess it depends on what he thinks is interesting.
He's lying to me, isn't he?
The hero's in a lower voice, at Lucian, just. But we need to talk about it in private.
Okay, let's go to my room. Or our room, I should say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are the two of you going to invite anyone else with you, or just go with the two of you?
Gil is not coming into my room. Are you kidding?
Guild's off trying to
He
make
is
money.
waiting for that chance. That is never going to happen.
Gil's working it.
Yeah, Gil is pretty busy with his arm wrestling thing. I'm sure whatever we talk
A
about,
man
we'll
of the
probably
night.
tell him later.
What an idols. I want to hear it fucking laying low.
All right. So will it just be the two of you then, or are you bringing anyone with you?
Do you want to bring anybody, Kara? Just me and you? Or do you want to, like... Oh no, Gil, so we could bring Gil.
Yes, we should all meet in the room.
Wait. All 7 of us in our room.
Well, Zephyr doesn't need to come.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
As long as it wasn't Zephyr.
I get that.
He's like, I get it. Totally understandable.
Valid. All right.
Gil,
And Zephyr already
put
knows.
that
So.
stupid sign away. Come to my room.
What?
They'll do a
Lucian,
double take.
Lucian, as you yell this at Gil from across the bar, you can hear several dark elf women go, "Ooh!" and you can hear several whistles.
My face just goes red. No, not like that. No, never like that. No.
You getting flustered only makes it worse.
No.
Gil's already picked up his sign and is trotting across the room.
The perfect moment to listen.
He'll probably never stop this stupid plan faster than that.
Oh God.
All right.
I mean,
Does
I
anyone
have to
resist?
know. I have to know. Did you realize what she was saying?
She did not.
No, I asked if you realized it.
If I realized it,
not until after she said
not
it.
until after it was said that I was like, oh shit.
Fitting.
Wait.
Wait,
I
wait
love
a
how you,
minute.
I love how you were oblivious in character and out of character.
Listen, when I'm in Lucian brain, it's just all 100% Lucian.
It's dedicated. All right. Does anyone resist being asked to
Zachary,
join
you're
the
not
group?
invited.
Carol finishes her lemonade real quick.
Just imagine you running back to the bar, just gulp, 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 and then running off.
My lemonade, shit.
They're frogs, so I just imagine they just open their mouth and just tip the drink
Wow.
over. in their mouth.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
splashes in, like, throwing it into a sink.
That'd be
Yeah,
so funny.
exactly.
Not inaccurate.
As we're going up the stairs, Gil, it's not what you think.
Gil is already in the room.
Yeah, Gil's already in there.
Yeah, go rush in there.
Did you
Like,
get
oh.
my room?
He-
Leave
it's,
it unlocked.
it's gonna be so fun. The funniest part's gonna be whenever everybody else walks in. Like, wait, what's going on? Are we doing
Yeah.
a show?
This is not. I don't. You're not. This is not happening, Gil. Ever.
That's not what you just said.
Now,
Like,
No.
persuasion on this?
no. Listen.
He ain't listening.
He ain't listening. No, that's not happening.
He can't listen.
I do. It has come to my attention that I do have a crush on somebody, but that is
Oh.
not you.
Okay. Okay.
You just
All right.
played.
Luckily, it's effort done.
You are
Yeah.
like a brother to me, okay?
Oh, I
Friend
think
zone.
he's got friends.
Lucian, I didn't know you had inflict wounds prepared today.
I do.
Oh well, yeah. So yeah, that's fine. Then just make sure you knock off the spell slot.
Yeah, no, it's more vicious. It'd be more vicious mockery, though, you know. Well,
No, that implies it's a cantrip. That was absolutely a 9th level spell. With lethal intent.
Like it's just such a, like
Listen,
an
You have
instant
a
down
good thing
him.
going. You have a good thing going with Summer. I think that you should, pursue that. And I will be.
I was about to say, did Gil completely forget about Summer?
oh no, he has like several
Gil
crushes.
doesn't know how Summer even feels. If she's still like,
Yeah, imagine that.
Wait,
Complicated
wait,
romantic
wait.
feelings in a politically driven
There
medieval
whenever they
setting.
confirmed that nothing happened to them, the brokers? Because that was one of
we know
Caleb's.
she's alive.
Okay.
But other than that, we don't know if he's even interested in Gil.
She danced with you at the ball.
She would have danced with anyone that asked her.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
Caro, Neon, and Caleb, the three of you are very confused. As for Caleb, you especially, because Neon, you already know what Caro presumably wants to talk about with Lucian, but Caleb, you have no context. So
It's just like, Carol, is this what you intended to happen?
No.
No. Let's focus on that. What is it, Carol, that you wanted to talk about? Let's focus on that, shall we?
Carol lowers her voice a bit.
and Garrow kind of nudges the door shut behind all of you.
So we were talking to Trot, the bartender.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did I ever get his name?
Yeah, you
Did
did.
he ever say his name? Like to Caro, I mean. I don't remember.
Yeah. You know what it is.
Okay. And apparently the rebels are meeting here soon.
Does that include Aurora?
Yes.
Interesting. I wanted to. Well, this is good news because I have been thinking about something and I wanted to talk to all of you to see what you thought. And I'm really glad to hear that we are, that they're meeting here. Are we like going to this thing or
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
That's good. So the thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was I don't know how to put this. I'm not exactly sure how good of an idea it is to start a war because that's what these guys want. However, I do think that if we are going to start a war, that we should have backup. So what I was going to suggest was I maybe message the Queen of Sun Dragon and maybe see if she would help us in this endeavor. Because, like, this is right next to her country, so, like, I'm guessing she would be very interested in seeing, like, Argos go down. So maybe, we could call her. What do you guys think?
Hmm.
I wish I could put my input, but
Hey,
Yeah,
Caleb
you're not
is
invited because you're a dick.
damn.
Well, he wouldn't have wanted to go anyway.
yeah, no, yeah.
Caleb is like Hold up. When did we say we were going to start a war?
Think about it, Caleb. Think about it. This
I am thinking
black
about it, and I
no,
don't
but
see how we're going to start
really,
a war.
really think about it. This Black Monk girl wants to liberate this country, so because it is quote unquote hers. You really think that these drow are going to go down without a fight? Especially
That's for
somebody like Argos?
The way I see it, that is the rebels' problem. Our problem is just getting rid of the person that's opposing them.
But see, that coincides with the problem, Caleb. Because if there is a war, Aragos is not either not going to be here because she needs to get out of the way, or she is going to join in the war, or there's something going to be happening with Aragos. So if there is a war, can you not see the problem?
The only problem I see is we are going to her. Let me rethink. Just disregard that.
Yeah.
Caleb was like, our goal to come here was to deal with the leader of Ergos, who is probably working with the Concord.
No, we know she's working for the Concord. We saw her.
And our mission here is to get rid of her. Our mission is not to get involved in internal politics.
Oh.
But here's the thing. It
We
seems
work
that
with
we
them.
have
We are working
already no, here's the thing though. It seems like we have already gotten ourselves into this. Because
temporarily.
well, temporarily or no,
Because
there
our
still
goal
is
is temporarily alive.
yes,
If we
the
eliminate the
issue.
leader of Ergos, that opens up the possibility for them to do their thing.
I don't think that you are listening, Caleb. The issue is that there will be a war.
That we do not have to be a part of.
No, I do not want to be a part of a war. I am not a fighter, if you have not noticed. But here is the biggest problem. If Aragos decides, hey, we're going to have a war, guess who she is going to call on? Her allies. Like, oh, I don't know, Barbarous and Wyborn? That is a huge ass problem.
How do I see it? That just means we have to kill them quicker.
How is that going to be possible when there is a war? War is going to happen one way or another. Are you not comprehending this? I thought you were smarter than this,
Then we'll
Caleb.
just
Oh.
then we will just kill them before the war starts. Do these rebels look like they are ready for some kind of great uprising yet?
That is why I was suggesting that we get Sandragon in on it, because she's got a very good army. She is a very good fighter. So maybe we could get her on our side. If we could get her on their side,
Dragons.
perhaps there is a way that we could maybe win. I don't see this happening.
Or we just don't fight this war to begin with. We just do the mission we came here to do and leave it for them to sort out their own issues. At that point our aligned interests will diverge.
That's the whole reason we are meeting with these rebels, is because Dobby, get out of the bathroom.
Amanda.
Sorry. That is why we are meeting with these rebels, is because we do our plans coincide, like you said, temporarily. However, it is going to lead to something quite bigger than we could chew.
So we don't chew it. We pass that.
I don't think that you are understanding, Caleb. It's going
No,
to happen.
you are not understanding. Why do we have to fight this war?
I'm not saying that we should.
Then we don't, and leave it for them to solve. So what's the point of this conversation?
The point is, I don't want to be down there with the rebel. I thought the idea was for us, all of us, to go to the capital, talk to the president, see if some way I can convince her to, back off, and maybe at the same time warn her that there is something bigger happening here.
You just want to see your girlfriend.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Said who her girlfriend was.
Okay, first of all, Sandragon is not my girlfriend. Second, that has nothing to do with this situation. I am saying that her army, and her army could benefit us. But there is another big problem. They are, really far away. So how do we get that army here, with, low key, without any?
Look, if the rebellion wants allies, they can make allies themselves. We are simply here for one person and one person only, the president of Argos.
I agree.
We work with these rebels because our goals align, and that the mess they make will probably take attention away from the messes we've made and give us the opportunity we need to strike. And once the president is dealt with one way or another, then we move on and continue on our journey, and the rebels will move on and continue fighting their war. That does not need to involve us.
I am just concerned that we are going to be dragged into something that we don't want to be involved in.
Then we just leave, if we have to. Come back and try again another time. Or maybe the rebels will do our job for us.
But it sounds like, Lucian, that you're trying to drag us into something that we're not ready for.
I'm not trying.
You are trying to start a war.
Trying to prevent it.
By adding more.
By bringing in an army.
Bringing in an army.
Because she can help.
Help with what?
Or she could just march her arm, or she could just take your information as an opportunity to expand her borders and take over this place and fuck the rebels and Argos.
Yeah. I'm not
like
saying
on this
that my
continent,
plan...
signs of weaknesses are opportunities for
I'm
others.
not saying that the idea is like perfect. Okay, I was just saying it was a idea. And that's why I came to you guys because I was like, maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not a good idea. That's why I'm asking. So you tell me it's not a good idea, so okay, we drop it.
In this entire time.
It wasn't dropped. It
He-
wasn't dropped.
I just don't see how we are going to expel ourselves from the rebels when the time comes.
It's
Well,
simple.
maybe
It's
we
called
just make
leave.
it clear that that's all we're here for.
That and it's simple. It's called leave this kingdom.
If we do what we wanted to do and we want to leave, then we can just leave. We can just let the rebels know that that's what we want.
So what? We just leave. We were going to go to Sun Dragon anyways, so we just go back the way we came, and then what?
Then go to Sun Dragon.
That's what I mean. Is what about Aragorn? We just let it.
Once
it
we've dealt with
go?
the presidents of Ergos is no longer our concern.
But the problem is, what if she doesn't listen?
Then we kill her.
Then we kill her. You get one chance. And if she doesn't listen, she has to go.
Lucifer said that.
Oh, here we go again with your brother who is working for our enemy.
Yes, but he said something that was very important, which was that she is stronger and smarter than everybody gives her credit for. So my concern is, even though if I do go
That is
in
true,
there,
but I have yet to meet one person who can outsmart a blade sticking in their neck.
He's got a
he told me not to underestimate her, so I do not plan on doing that. I do not plan on underestimating. Let me try again in common.
We are armed
Let
to
me
the
try again in
teeth.
common. I'm not going to underestimate her.
Who do you think's underestimating? We are better armed than a majority of soldiers in most militaries.
I think that's the issue, Caleb. I don't. I think that there are maybe things that we don't know. Especially about Ergos.
Well, what we do know is they are working with the Scar Concord.
Yes.
They are our enemies, and they want us dead. And so, the best solution, when you dead, is to kill them first.
Actually, the only person who wants us dead is Barbarous. And maybe
they want us for a purpose, and then once that purpose is served, we will probably be dead.
That's why we have come up with these plans, Caleb.
Let's just talk to the rebels who would have more information. We don't know everything about this country yet. They will know more.
Yeah. Maybe about her assets. Maybe about, everything.
Yes. We will need to wait. There is Caro thinks for a moment. A storm coming, and we will need to stay here.
A storm. So like, weather wizard.
Caro says the word in
Hang on. I think I still have tongues up.
Lovelander.
Yeah, I still have tongues up, so I can understand it. So that shit goes on for an hour.
Caro says, I don't remember the word in common. Eh, and then, like, in Loveland, it says hurricane.
Minute. What language did you just talk in?
My native tongue.
She's responding to you in that tongue, by the way. What
Hey,
is
imagine
a
what-
hurricane?
Big storm, I guess. She says. But I feel like hurricanes do come into her home. But I'm not sure.
Hey, Matthew, are hurricanes common in this continent?
About as common as they are anywhere else. It depends largely on where you are, but yeah, there definitely can be hurricanes. They're generally somewhat infrequent, though, as being so far north means that the temperature tends to be a lot more moderate, and thus there's not as much opportunity for hurricanes to develop. But they're not at all unheard of, just a little rarer than they would be in a more southern area. You would have experienced or heard of very, very few, whereas someone like Caro has a lot more experience being from down south.
So like
Yeah.
Tibet are like kind of in the middle of the continent.
In the middle towards the south, the few times there is a storm, it does hit them typically, but again, they happen so rarely to begin with. Yeah, they're not unheard of, just not super common.
Fair enough.
It's not.
Did,
It's
I feel
not
like I
like
should have rolled history for that.
yeah.
I mean, it's literally asking about a weather phenomena. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Yep. Basically, it doesn't happen consistently like it does like in some coastal regions IRL. It's just like, yeah, every so often you get one, and even then, it's not as big of one as it typically would be.
But yes, it's a big storm. I haven't been around since one has happened, but you want to stay inside.
So basically, the guard patrols are probably going to be inside, and that's the time to do the sneaky things.
Yes. It will flood.
Here is another idea that I have been thinking of.
Yes.
I don't know how you guys are going to like this idea, but I have considered it. And maybe we can bring this up to the rebels as well. What if I expose myself? If she hears that Lucy and Aleficari is here, perhaps she will want to talk, or maybe at least maybe capture me.
I feel like they would
Double security.
think that the rest of us would be here too.
But they don't know that we are all together, working together.
I think they have a pretty
Well,
good
we
idea
escaped
considering we
together.
were captured
Unless-
together.
Unless Lucifer has told them, which I wouldn't doubt because, like
Or
he said,
there's the whole fact that we were all captured together and then escaped together and have generally been against them. And also, Kaloum saw us fight with that robot.
that is true.
I think they have a pretty good idea that wherever you are, the rest of us can't be far behind. It should just make things more difficult.
Yeah.
Besides,
right.
you might not even get it. You might not even get near them. You may just get captured by guards and sent off somewhere else.
Yeah. Like I said, it was just an idea.
Wonder what Zephyr's doing right now.
I really don't care.
Drinking drinks on the bar.
The fact that he lied to me again.
Well,
It's
it
not
was
fucking
kind
true.
of a not great place to talk about these kinds
It
of
doesn't
things.
matter. At least Carol was nice enough to be like, "Oh, we need to go in another room," you know, he could have said something like that. Didn't have to go lying.
Well, you asked him if anything he thought was interesting. And how do you know that he was lying?
He just
Are you
didn't find
sorry?
this really
He doesn't
interesting.
seem like he wants to go to the meeting or anything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he probably doesn't because whatever his agenda is doesn't align up with it. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't care about anything but himself. And maybe you, Caleb.
Huh. Sound familiar?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yo didn't have to say anything.
What the
Hey,
fuck are you
just-
talking about, Gil?
Caleb is just going to
No, please,
leave.
He's going to pointedly look at you.
Caleb is just going to leave.
Yeah, absolutely fair. Garrow,
Things are
without
getting a
waiting for a
little
command from
testy
Caro,
here.
follows shortly.
Yeah,
I
kind
was
of.
just after I said that, Gil was gonna think to himself,
Mm-hmm.
not about that. How loud have we been?
Pretty sure we said that we were whispering or lowering our voices at least.
Probably not anymore, actually.
I'm just checking.
I feel like if whenever we raised our voices, it would probably just be like normal voice level, and then go back to whispering.
Yeah, no, you guys did say you were lowering your voices, so I was assuming stage whispering.
Mm.
Although,
Yes.
Gil, if you
Just
wish,
double
you
check.
can. Yeah, Gil, if you want, you can roll to see if you were overheard.
I'm
I
gonna go down to the bar and grab a
right.
cup of water.
Go ahead and roll perception, Gil. And Neon, what are you doing?
Rip.
All right.
I didn't realize
Oh,
I was
quiet.
muted.
And yeah, there's Neon.
Yeah, I thought I'd unmuted a while back, but I guess not.
Oh, I hope you weren't trying to.
Nah, that's all right.
All right. But yeah, so what do you do? The conversation appears to have died down for now.
Neon has been staring off into space this entire time, not absorbing any of the conversation. And
Neon was in the room. Thought he went to his room.
Yeah. Yeah, no. We said everyone but Zephyr.
Okay.
um,
Yeah, Kara was gonna drag Neon with her then. So you don't have to bear
Leon
bear
just
the
spends
brunt of
the
this
entire
argument.
arc.
Yeah, drag him around.
And it's like
All right.
You were going to say,
Neon's
Gil?
just going to spend the entire arc just staring into space.
Yeah, occasionally fighting.
I mean,
All right,
has
all
he
right.
fought anything?
Yeah, he helped fight the border patrol, of course, and the Suchomimus, and seemed ready to help whenever things were getting
Well,
serious.
fighting
So.
the border control is what caused this.
Mm-hmm. And he froze up during the Suchomimus fight. You know.
It's fine.
But yeah, so as everyone disperses or is dragged away, Lucy and Gil, the two of you are left alone.
What were you going to say?
He's gonna leave the room.
All right, Zephyr.
And I'll just want
Yes.
It's because she says that. Only that you tend to think about yourself and what you want. And he's gonna continue going.
All right, Zephyr. You hear the group assemble and head upstairs for a conversation about what you, Neon, and Caro had been told. Lucian making a point to ensure you aren't included. So you are left alone for quite some time. Anything you would like to do?
No, I mean, for that time, he's probably just kind of like sitting there thinking to himself, just learned, experienced.
All right. In that case, I'll say as you sit, Trot does occasionally slide you a few drinks. Noticeably, while he does lean in for conversation, it seems more directed at just looking good for because as night is falling, the crowd is getting busier. More trying to have the appearance of a casual acquaintanceship, pretending to take money from you before walking off. So you get a decent helping of drinks for free. And eventually, one by one, a very awkward and uncomfortable looking Caleb, Garrow, and Neen, a amused looking Gil, and a infuriated looking Lucian, one by one begin to descend from the inns and start taking their usual places around the bar. I will say, with you guys' newfound short-term alliance, or however term it may be, Trot is not going to charge you any further, especially because you already paid for a week, so he's basically just putting you up for an extra day. You will not be charged for any further food, drink, or room and board. And the town seems to slowly grow acclimated to your presence. Although the males among you do still get the occasional odd comment or look. Assuming you guys intend to stay in town for the next 8 days before the hurricane arrives, is there anything anyone would like to do while they're in town for that time?
Yes, I would like to do a thing, please.
All right, well, first let's just cover who wants to do stuff. So Lucian has stuff. So yeah, basically assuming you guys are going to just chill in town for the next 8 days, we can just cover anyone who has something particular in mind. Okay, so Gil and Lucian both have something. Anyone else?
No, not me.
All right. In that case, we'll just do a very brief overview. So Neon, for the next 8 days, what are you going to be doing?
Drinking, basically.
All right.
Being very productive.
I want
Kara?
to pull a no you card on Neon.
You're basically going to try and moderate them a bit.
Yes.
All right. I'll say that Neon, you do start trying to find answers to your sorrows at the bottom of a bottle. Although between Trot seeming uncomfortable with how much you're drinking and starting to cut you off after a few nights, and Caro's constant interference, you are able to drink but not get yourself like completely blackout drunk like you had intended, which is frustrating and forces you to actually at least somewhat attempt to confront your feelings.
Oh.
I don't wanna though.
Zephyr and Caleb, what are the
point.
two of you up to? Just basically, what general things will you be getting up to if you don't have any specific errands in mind? Just sort of glimpsed into the daily lives of the Tebadra boys.
Well, I think Kato would be kind of focusing on, like, for the week is he'd just be taking time to basically keep up on his, like, skills and stuff. And maybe
Yeah, so
try
just
to practice shooting that laser rifle, like, somewhere, like, outside the town.
sure. All right. I'll say yeah, because I'm tracking how much ammo you have. I'll say you're able to, just over the course of a few days, taking some practice shots, but being careful not to expend too much ammo. I'll say you take, let's say, 8 practice shots, getting more acclimated to this new weaponry. And Zephyr, what are you going to be up to? I mean, you don't have to do anything. Just basically, like, if you don't have any specific errands, just like what sort of stuff is Zephyr getting up to in his free time, basically.
Yeah, just like a.
What ammo does the laser rifle use?
It's an energy cell. Each one provides it with a certain amount of shots. Gil had salvage the one you're using off of the border patrol, which the energy cell, given the shortage in edict, was already running a bit dry. I'll say, again, since you have free time and Neon's not so drunk that they couldn't help you, and they've helped you guys with technical stuff in the past, Neon does identify for you that after a few, basically by the time your practice shots are taken, you will have 15 shots remaining before you need a refill.
Okay. There probably aren't any. Yeah, we'd have to go back to what you call it to probably find that.
Or salvage it from something. All right, and but yeah. So Zephyr, anything in mind, or not?
I think Zephyr could withstand that amount of time, but there. Let my character idle. They can just.
All right.
I guess while
All right.
my brother's practicing, I will finally give him back. He's glass.
Glee.
Forgot what they did.
I mean, I would.
I got you covered. One sec.
Yeah, I would explain it to you. Probably like tell you like. They're basically useless. Practically a piece of junk. But about 3 times per day. Yeah, about 3 times per day. If they use charm person on a person, but have eye contact and must be humanoid.
Interesting.
Charm person, it's like isn't very strong. Most people probably could pass.
All right. Caleb, you may add the Eyes of Charming to your inventory.
Okay. Well, I can't. I don't know if I can do that.
I'm pretty sure you
Believe that-
can. Yeah. You can modify your own inventory. Just the new
Oh.
campaign lets me access it too, so
I know.
makes it easier to. Yeah. Just Austin can.
What's it called?
The Eyes of Charming.
Add.
All right. So, and I'll say, Caro, since you're busying yourself mostly with attending to Neon, I'll say you do notice that while Zephyr does busy himself occasionally, you notice Zephyr growing increasingly irritated and frustrated at the lack of movement, the lack of forward motion that the party is currently doing, just idling in the small backwater town, waiting for things to happen. Zephyr seems probably the most uncomfortable and genuinely frustrated you've ever seen the kobold. And seeming more like he's just trying to find things to do just so he doesn't have to think about the fact that he's sitting still.
All right.
I will also say before. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, in the midst of Neon not being forced to drink water only, Carol will go up to Zephyr and just ask, Zephyr, you look bored. Are you bored?
That's one way to put it, I guess. Man, I'm not a person who likes to sit here and wait for something.
Excuse me, sorry. I understand. Would you want to play a game? We could play cards.
What would we be playing with those? Something.
Matthew, a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Does poker exist in this universe?
Didn't you say that
Yes,
Caleb's
poker
gimmick
exists.
cards are like of that type?
Okay.
Well, they're not technically traditional poker cards, but they are usable in them.
Cards, but
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's different, but it is still recognizably poker. Well, yeah, like the suits are different and stuff.
Is its name still poker, or does it have a different name?
Everywhere calls it different, but poker is a name for it, so you can use that.
Okay. We could play poker?
except for better than nothing.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
The
what
two
did
of
you say?
you, Zephyr agreed. Just it's better than
Okay.
nothing, basically. All right.
Yeah. Caro
Uh,
smiles
Caro,
and
you may.
nods.
And with that, you manage to corral the kobold into joining you for some games, which keeps the kobold's hands and mind occupied on other things. Although I will say, you can roll for it if you want, but I'll say if left up to just pure circumstance, Zephyr does seem to have a penchant to win most of the time. He seems the most skilled at the game.
Small froggy tear.
I mean, yeah, I'm wrong.
All right. And I will say, after a few days of just the inactivity and rest, Lucian, both of your addictions have faded by this point. You had sweated out most of it during your trek, and the last of it fades during your stay in Hjardaman. So, as of now, you are free and clear from your addictions you obtained in Edict. And Sundragon.
Yeah.
More
Sundragon
coffee.
for one,
Only
Edict
took
for
you-
one.
Only took you almost a month.
Hey, that's better than a lot of people.
Oh no, that's fair. I acknowledge that. I'm just saying, like just to give you
I've
a
heard of people
perspective.
who like
honestly.
go years and still haven't
Hey.
broken it.
I
Yeah.
do still want to do something.
No, I know. I was more just like
Okay.
saying that before we
Okay,
got
okay.
to your stuff, so you
Okay,
would
okay.
know that you're going in free and clear.
I was actually
Also,
gonna
to
let
be
Jeremy
fair, okay. Also, I'll say as a brief side note before we get to that. To be fair, Lucian was mostly dealing with addictions of one dose of Star Blast, I think two.
That is true.
And a few like helpings of coffee. Lucian just easily addicted to things is really what it is.
Also, I know my phrasing sounded kind of mean, but it's not to like I'm not trying to disrespect people who are recovering from
Addiction. It's a fair point. Like, you know, it is faster than most people. It's a hard thing to deal with.
Oh yeah.
All right. In that case, so with Caleb busying themselves with their investigations and practicing, Zephyr having their spirits kept aloft by Caro, and Neon kept from drowning by Caro. Caro just playing the group support, keeping everyone from going insane. Raccoon, for the most part, seems content to finally have a chance to actually rest, having spent most of the
final
time
sleep.
since spending most of the time since Mercurial in some danger or another with very little chance to actually rest. Raccoon seems grateful. And with that, Gil, you had an errand in mind. Do you have a particular part during the week you'd like to do it, and what would you like to do?
So this will be an everyday occurrence.
Okay.
Oh boy.
He gets his sign back out. He'll sit in the lobby. And if he doesn't get anyone there, he will see about going outside and putting the table out there.
Take a table
Yes,
from
fine.
outside. Where are you getting the table?
I'll say so. Since you didn't spend that much time there, I will use your persuasion check from earlier. That being said, Gil, you sit, occasionally watching as Zephyr and Carol play cards, and Neon reluctantly drinks water. You set up your sign, and you wait. A day passes, 2 days, 3. Nobody seems interested. You notice a few dark elf women kind of almost smirk at you, like that sort of quiet, like, I could totally win. It's not even worth my time kind of expression. You see one goblin like squint at the sign, almost like they're having trouble reading it, before kind of shaking their head and moving on. I'd say probably about once you get about to day 4 with no luck, I'll say about at that point is when you take it outside, unless you have a preference.
No, that sounds right.
And you switch to hanging around outside, maybe seeing if just maybe the denizens of the Sunken Scale just aren't motivated to arm wrestle you for little to no gain. Make me another persuasion check, this time at disadvantage.
I'm going to say there is a gold on the table.
Apparently, gold is not worth as much as you think it is.
Well, bear in mind, like, Gil's huge, covered in tattoos, clear. Most people can identify him as a soldier, and most of the people coming through here are either guards who have good pay as it is, or people who can't afford any form of bet.
Basically, he needs to up the ante.
Yeah. So, anyways, what were you saying, Gil? So persuasion at disadvantage. What'd you get?
19. The second
All
roll
right.
was a nat 20.
All right. You set up your sign outside, and you wait. There's not exactly a table, so a few people seem turned away by just that alone. But you actually do finally seem to attract somebody's attention. A dark elf patrol going by. One of the women in the patrol kind of takes a second glance at the sign and smirks, and you can see her whisper to the others in the patrol, who all giggle at her, and she strides forward, making eye contact with you. This dark elf is huge. Her armor practically can't contain her. And she gives a wide smile, which seems very unsettling and malicious, and speaks in very slow, exaggerated Elvish, like as if she's concerned if she talks too fast, you might miss it. You looking to fight?
I love her already.
Stop making me laugh. I'm trying to be serious. Only if you think you can take me.
You can hear a few of the dark elves in the patrol. Ooh, and she smirks a little bit, and crosses her hulking arms in front of her frame and leans to one side with her hip jutting out. And what do I stand to gain in exchange?
What do you want?
What do you have?
I have money. Got this necklace. Had it saved for someone else. But if it's what you want.
Gil's pretty.
It's pretty
Confident.
tame.
Downfall.
He's pretty
She-
confident.
She looks over the necklace, seeming suitably impressed. And after a moment, she cocks her head. And on the off chance, what do I stand to lose?
I shouldn't say it. Oh my goodness.
Go with your character. Go with your character. Lucian will judge you later.
Judge
Your
you.
reputation.
You what?
Your reputation.
She smirks widely. I assure you my reputation is worth more than a cheap necklace for an equally cheap girl, I imagine. You're on.
Okay.
She gestures, and two of her friends break away to follow behind her as she leads you to the much less populated tavern across town, the one that Caleb and Lucian had scouted. As it is during the day, it is, or rather afternoon, it is not, it is about to open up, but isn't open yet. But there are the tables on the second floor that are accessible, which is what she seems intent on reaching. She sits across from you, places a hulking arm on the table, and smiles politely and benignly as she waits for you to meet her challenge.
I need it.
Make me a strength check.
What's he doing?
Let me see that.
Strength
His arm.
strength
Let
check
me
for arm
see that
wrestling.
roll.
What?
Let me see
Oh,
that
is he
roll.
actually fighting someone?
Well, the
No,
arm
they're just arm
wrestling.
wrestling.
I mean, like he actually got. I thought they left.
No, they were.
No, like they were taking him to the tavern across town, so there would actually be a table because he just was sitting on the floor outside.
Oh, fair
Do
enough.
I think I have one inspiration.
You can use it if
Do
you
I?
want.
I want to use it.
Go
This
for
is
it.
not
Make sure
good.
you're keeping track, but go ahead.
He rolled low, didn't he? Again.
Oh yeah.
One
Did
of
he
your
roll
highest.
worse?
Well, I mean, you can
He
keep the
rolled
highest.
worse than his original.
You can keep the highest. Like it's technically.
Yeah. Inspiration gives you advantage, so you still keep the highest. It's just it gives you a chance to roll again. So whichever one was higher.
Total of 11.
Even better. 11.
Gil, you go in, meeting her challenge, and you manage to lock your arms together for about 4 seconds. You swear it might have been 5. And with a sharp pain running from your hand all the way up your arm, she slams the back of your hand into the wood of the table. You can feel some of the wood actually crack slightly, and your knuckles not heavily, but your knuckles do start to bleed slightly. And the two women with her hoot and holler as she stands up with her fists in the air. And cocks her hips to the side as you hold your rapidly reddening arm.
Damn, like a drum.
Ow.
He got
Gil-
beat like
Gil
a drum.
laughs. He actually enjoyed that. He'll put another 200 on the gold. We'll go on the table. One more try.
Actually, can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
You're interestingly weak. It's caught my attention. You can keep your money and the necklace. But if you lose this next round, you have to spend the next 3 nights with me and my sisters.
Uh-huh. I saw that coming.
Man, I was gonna say experience.
Saw that coming a mile away. I knew this was gonna happen.
You're on. He will accept defeat.
Oh, you're just gonna lose?
Except
I
the
don't
defeat.
know.
Is he gonna lose
Find out.
on purpose?
Are you gonna lose on purpose, Jeremy?
Well, he doesn't know what she means by. I know he thinks that and all that. But she might have other plans, so he's not
Okay.
entirely sure about that.
So
yes,
are
he
you
is
gonna put up a
try to
fight?
win.
Okay. Roll me another strength check.
This might be the first time I've ever seen either Jeremy or Amanda low roll.
Jeremy going home with. We're not gonna be seeing Jeremy for.
What did he roll?
It's
He rolled a
7.
3.
So it was a total
Oh.
of 7.
7.
Gil, you sit yourself down, and you're not sure
Your
whether
luck
it's
ran out on you at a interesting time.
you're not sure whether it's the fact that you're still sore from your earlier defeat, the fact that you're internally unsure if you want to lose or not, or just how insanely strong this woman is. But this time you aren't even slammed into the table. You're just fully thrown down to the ground and then lifted back up and hoisted over her shoulder. She basically loops you across the ground, under the table, up her back and back over her shoulder, and looks down at your face with a very smug look, and just,
You win.
I believe that counts as a technicality.
Oh boy, you are in for it.
Shall we, sisters? And they both start to giggle uproariously and follow behind her as
Oh, no.
you are taken to the barracks for a wild 3 nights.
Wild 3 nights.
I gotta go to the rest of
The rest of you see Gil outside on day 4 and then do not see him again until the morning of day 8.
Storm's supposed to be.
Yep. And Lucian, you had something you wanted to do?
Yeah. Man, my stuff's gonna be so less interesting than his.
We'll see.
Okay.
The moment he set up that arm wrestling table, I was like, I wonder if those guards' patrol routes will intersect with his.
Listen, I wish you could have seen his face.
Oh, I bet it was a
just-
painting.
Shit,
Seriously, because like legit, Amanda and Jeremy have like almost always rolled high, and then this happens. He rolled low, like 3 times in a row. Man, your luck really ran out on you.
So, Lucian, what will you be getting up to during the 8 days of rest?
Okay, so first day, I went to get out my new cards that I bought. And I'm going to sit down at the desk in my room where it's quiet. Nobody can interrupt my my work. And I'm going to, of course, take off the Marzana symbol, and I'm gonna put it in the drawer. And then I will put on the Shiva one. And just take a few deep breaths, and then kind of shuffle my cards, and then I will cast Archery as
Augury.
Augury. Yes, as I go through the cards. And let's see. This takes about 30 minutes. So for like 30 minutes, I'm like focusing on the card, focusing on my intent. So my intent is I want to know if we will have what kind of results will we have for what kind of results will I have for the conversation I will be having with the president. So I will so those are my intents as I shuffle the cards.
All right, so you want to know the outcome of your conversation with Ergos.
Yes.
You cast the spell, and you receive the omen, Weal and Woe.
I do, actually. I do know what that means. I'll put the cards back in my bag and thank Shiva for the information.
What was the result? I'm sorry.
Weal and Woe, which basically augury can give you one of 4 results, which the DM chooses, because you're basically communing with your god. Weal means good, woe means bad. Weal and woe means good and bad, and nothing is not especially good or bad. It's just kind of neutral.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
So, next day, because I'm gonna have to have a long rest for this. I'm gonna hate myself. I'm gonna talk to Lucifer.
Okay. You cast Sending.
As you know, we are going against Ergos soon. I hope that maybe you could give me a bit of intel on her, seeing as you're my brother. And that's my message.
Not being
Make a
clear at all.
persuasion check.
They're not being clear at all.
There's only so much I can say, Zephyr. Jesus.
Yeah, I get that, but it's like, I know what you're trying. I'm assuming you're trying to ask him what she's like and all. Just ask
17.
information how to deal with her.
That's a 17.
Lucian, you cast Sending, and a part of you almost isn't sure if you should expect a response, as the last couple times you've cast Sending, you haven't received one, or the responses have been curt, quick, and unhelpful, although you know they are being received. After a moment, however, whether it was what you said at the end that spurred him to action, or if he simply on a whim chose to respond to you this time, you're not sure. But you do get a response. The woman, Queen Wyborn, that's her weakness. Ergos loves her, but the queen doesn't love her back. And that's all you're told.
All right.
Anything else during the week, Lucian?
I'm going to sorry. I lost my voice for a second there. Is there a way, because I know Caro is looking after
Neon and Zephyr?
Perhaps when we're all in the same room, because like her me and Raccoon are is Raccoon there?
Yeah, Raccoon's just been taking it easy, but they are spotted hanging around the bar occasionally. So yeah, they're not just totally ghosted, just kind of idling, taking the chance to rest.
I'll say when we're all in the room together, like getting ready for bed, Lucian, one of the knights.
I think they just mean Caro and Raccoon specifically.
Yeah.
Because if I recall, they're sharing a room.
Mm-hmm. I will say to Caro, what do you know of Queen Whiteboard? Because weren't you like the Blackthorn's glider or something? Do you know anything about her?
Do I know anything about Queen Wyborn?
Make a history check.
Okay, one sec.
And I'll give you advantage on this one.
Ooh. Okay. My dice out. Got a 16.
You have not met the woman personally, although you have had passing interactions with her in the past, and you are familiar with her. Queen Wyborn appeared on the map of Yav as if from nowhere, not that long ago, less than 10 years. Shortly after the Ergos Republic first came onto the map, interestingly enough. The Kingdom of Wyborn rapidly expanded. You would know because of Blackthorn's close proximity. Wyborn is actually Blackthorn's closest neighbor to the east, although they do have to sail across a small bay to get to Blackthorn territory. You know that Queen Wyborn has always been hungry for land. They expand constantly. They're always at war with the giant tribes to their south, to the Kingdom of Song to their east, constantly stretching into Blackthorn's borders to the west, and constantly taking territory away from the Ergos Republic, which everyone had initially assumed was either a trade or ill-begotten conquest, which you now suspect from the information you got from Barry on the way in was likely a deeply one-sided trade on President Aragos's part in an attempt to please the woman. Queen Wyborn, from the times you have met her in passing, typically at political parties, which she and Queen Blackthorn are expected to interact despite the hostilities, Queen Wyborn is a vicious and cruel woman, always making barbs at the people around her, whether they be allies or enemies. You know that Queen Blackthorn in particular has always had something of an aversion to her. Not the least likely cause of which was the time that during a Wyborn invasion on one of their cities, Queen Blackthorn attempted to help her archers protect the walls and nearly lost an eye. While Queen Wyborn was not in that battle personally, in fact, she never takes to the battlefield personally, you know that encounter, for a kingdom that prides itself on its sharpshooting, left a deep cut on the young queen's mind, knowing that this enemy queen, so deeply hostile and vindictive, might be her equal in a field she prizes herself so heavily on. And you know that she focused her crossbow training even heavier after that near brush with death. Queen Wyborn employs archers. Archers, and archers. They are lethal at long range, block out the sun. And the queen herself probably could block out the sun with the sheer cold black deadness of her heart.
Damn.
Okay. So Kara's just sitting there for a moment, reminiscing. I say, which is not a good word to describe. Just contemplating on what information she does know, and she heavily furrows her brow immediately. Yes, I do know about her. I don't know her that well, but she is mean.
Because there are different types of me, Carol.
She is a tyrant.
That I can understand. That actually makes sense. I talked to Lucifer again, and I got some very interesting information that I think I can use when I talk to her.
Yes.
I kind of like look around and lower my voice. Wyborn does not love Ergos. That much was it was a little obvious, when we saw them together, because like she was
Was
like,
I aware of this? Or did I really pay attention?
Well, whether you paid attention to it is your decision, but yes, Carol, you were present for these interactions. While you did not see the personal meeting Lucian had with the two of them, you did observe them whenever you were brought before the Concord. Argos was never far from Queen Wyborn's side, always sitting in her lap or right next to her, with Queen Wyborn gently stroking her hair, just giving her attention almost idly. So you do recall that with Lucian bringing it to your attention, that, yeah, you never did see Argos too far from Wyborn's side, although Wyborn seemed indifferent to paying her more than passing attention.
Well, it is sad.
It is sad, but we could use this to our advantage. Don't you see?
How?
She kind of chuckles. You leave the politics to me. I have a lot of ideas, and I am already coming up with something to say to her. But I want you to know that you. But I want you to know that, even though I am talking to Lucifer on probably like not like a daily basis, but like, we keep in touch. That doesn't mean that. I don't know what it means, to be honest with you. I love my brother more than anybody.
That's okay. We just are on opposite sides.
I think that's going to be a problem.
Probably, but for now, he's giving us good information.
But why?
Who knows?
My biggest fear is, Carol, that, for years I was running from him, terrified of him, just scared. Because I thought that maybe he was a bad person. And then this new information comes to light. And I've come to the question of, what if I'm wrong about Lucifer? And then a more scary thought occurs to me, is what if I'm right?
I guess you just have to wait.
I don't like waiting.
Well, it is a part of living. I remember I couldn't wait until I got my legs. I miss my tail, though.
Yeah, I'm still. Do you have that frog anatomy book that you got a couple times over? Do you still have that?
Frog anatomy? I think it was actually about
Lovelanders, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was anatomy. I think it was just about the Lovelanders from this area. Did I keep that book?
Yeah,
Wasn't
we
that a
still
library
haven't-
book?
We haven't gotten back. We haven't gotten back, so I assume you still have it.
Hmm. Well, I should.
Well, there you go.
if it's not too much to ask, could I maybe borrow that book?
Okay.
I have a lot of questions about your people, and
I think
I
it's for
don't.
the ones that live here, though, so it won't all be the same.
What?
What?
You mean there are different types?
Yes? The way they talk about the Lovelanders that live here aren't like mine.
I don't. Okay, so you said that you are like big compared to the ones here in yours.
Yes. I am big, even from home.
Carol, you are an enigma. You know that.
It just means more for you to learn.
I do like learning things. However, I am learning some pretty interesting things about chemistry. Like, did you know, like, there's a whole table of, like, different types of metals? Like, this is the coolest thing I've read in a long time.
Kara just looks puzzled.
And
All right.
I should show you this thing that I learned with milk and soap. It's so funny.
Okay.
So I will spend the rest of my 8 days when I am not reading. I am showing off my simple yet mind-puzzling experiments with Kara.
Yeah, mind-boggling, googly moogly.
Kara was just having a busy 8 days.
Yeah.
Just busy
All
as
right.
Gil.
So, speaking of,
Oh no.
so as Neon drowns their sorrows, Zephyr, you busy yourself in an attempt to distract from the stagnant movement. Your mood begins to brighten slightly, although whether that's Caro's influence or the fact that you know the end of the wait is coming, you are unsure. Lucian, after your initial engagements, spend the rest of the week hanging out with Caro and by proxy Neon and Zephyr. The four of you spend the bulk of the week together, playing cards, hanging out, and Lucian performing mind-boggling tricks of chemistry. Raccoon joins you frequently, seeming slowly brightening and contenting with the chance to rest. Caleb, you dip in and out as the mood strikes you, never straying too far, but taking the chance to practice. And Gil, you don't know if it's the thunder of the storm or the thunder of the walls, but whatever it is, you are not exactly being allowed up to check. But the rest of you do begin to note as the week draws to a close, dark clouds gather over the horizon. And Caleb, during one of your daily outings, you see a distant flash of lightning and can hear a distant of slowly growing closer thunder as the hurricane begins to make its way towards the town. And Gil, you are disturbed from less a peaceful sleep and more being forced into unconsciousness and dehydrated. You are startled awake. You're super parched and exhausted by an insanely loud crash of thunder as the hurricane reaches Hjarmen, and the streets will soon be flooded, and the meeting of the rebels will take place. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Wow.
Noosh.
Well,
Not how I I pictured that going.
I'll get back to you. If any of you at home, I apologize for my lower mic quality, but fiction is not the only land having a storm right now, sadly. If you want to see more of my DMing with better mic quality, check out twitch.tv/Graeme-Crackers, Graeme, Crackers with a Z, for my Friday campaign, the Goldshine Investigations at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time, taking place in the same campaign setting, featuring Aurora Blackmont's father and uncle as some of the party members. Check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Down for maintenance right now, but we'll be back up soon. Check the link that's about to be posted in chat, hopefully, to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly and support our episodes posted on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, or wherever you happen to get them from. For our audio listeners at home, catch us live on Tuesdays at 9:30 CDT at twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions, and check out Odd Tornado Productions official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our poor neglected Kobold Rogues Twitch channel at twitch.tv/AustinFreak123. Great tech guy, great guy in general, even outside of tech, literally and metaphorically. Couldn't have the stream without him. And I believe that's everything. So, with any luck, we will see you all next week.
Bye.